Picture this. You step out of your front door on a perfectly normal Tuesday morning. You are holding your coffee, keys in hand, minding your own business as you head toward your driveway. You happen to glance up at the sprawling oak tree in your front yard, and there it is, a neighborhood crow, pitch black, perfectly still, perched on a low branch, staring down at you. For a split second, your eyes meet. You lock your gaze with this dark, mysterious creature. You probably think absolutely nothing of it. It is just a random, fleeting encounter with nature, right? You break the gaze, get into your car, and drive off to work. But here is the terrifying reality. That was not a coincidence. That fleeting moment of eye contact was not a harmless interaction. It was a highly complex biological transaction. And unfortunately for you, a verdict has just been reached. You see, when you look at a crow the wrong way, you are not just offending a random, mindless bird. You are unwittingly putting your own name onto the permanent blacklist of a feathered mafia that practically runs your entire neighborhood. And trust me when I tell you, this is a syndicate that never forgets a face and simply never forgives a slight. If you do not understand the invisible, silent rules of their society, your daily walk to the mailbox could quickly turn into an absolute psychological nightmare. But look at it this way, you have a choice. If you stick around with me until the end of this video, I will show you exactly how to reverse this curse. I will give you the exact, science-backed protocol to clear your name and go from being public enemy number one to a respected, untouchable VIP in the avian underworld. So, pull up a chair, get comfortable, and if you find yourself captivated by the dark, hidden secrets of the natural world, consider hitting that subscribe button right now. You are going to need this information much sooner than you think. Let us dive deep into the first massive mistake we all make on a daily basis: the eye contact. You might think looking an animal in the eyes is a way of connecting with them, but in the realm of corvids, it is a declaration of war. According to fascinating research published in the journal Current Biology, focusing specifically on how ravens and crows track human gaze, these birds are not just passively looking at you, they are actively reading your retinas. When you lock eyes with a neighborhood crow, a highly sophisticated and frankly terrifying sequence of events unfolds within their brain. Crows possess an extraordinary, hypersensitive awareness of the exact direction a human is looking. They act as biological pupil scanners. To a crow, your direct eye contact does absolutely not mean hello or I come in peace. It translates directly and aggressively into what behavioral scientists call a predatory assessment. Think about it logically from their perspective for a moment. In the unforgiving wild, when a lethal predator zeroes in on a potential target, what is the very last thing they do before they strike? They stare. They lock their eyes onto the prey to calculate distance, angle, and trajectory. When you stand on your driveway and stare at that crow up in the tree, its complex brain instantly fires off intense warning signals. It processes your gaze as you hatching a sinister, calculated plan. You are no longer just a person going to work or fetching the newspaper. You have suddenly become a severe, immediate threat. You have just challenged them in their own territory. And the moment you finally break that eye contact, the crow has already made its final decision about your character. You might forget the interaction completely by the time you reach the end of your street, but I promise you, the crow has essentially taken a high-definition mental photograph of your face. You are now in their crosshairs. And speaking of photographs, wait until you hear about exactly what they do with that mental image. What I am about to tell you in just a moment will completely change how you walk around your own town forever. This brings us to a groundbreaking, monumental study that completely shocked the scientific community and redefined everything we thought we knew about bird intelligence. We are talking about the famous research conducted by Dr. John M. Marsluff, published in the prestigious Proceedings of the Royal Society B. This study focused deeply on facial recognition by wild American crows, and it plays out exactly like a psychological thriller. Dr. Marsloff and his dedicated team of researchers wanted to know just how good a crow memory really is when it comes to human faces. So, they orchestrated a brilliant and slightly creepy experiment on a university campus. The researchers bought a batch of rubber Halloween masks. Specifically, they chose a very distinct, rather unsettling, highly detailed mask of a prehistoric caveman. The mask was not just a simple piece of plastic. It had deep-set eyes, an exaggerated brow ridge, a large nose, and a permanent, slightly aggressive scowl. It looked completely unnatural, making it the perfect extreme stimulus for the experiment. The researchers wore this grotesque caveman mask while they went out into the field to carefully capture, place tracking bands on, and then release several wild crows. Naturally, this was a highly stressful event for the birds. It was intentionally designed to make the crows view the caveman face as a dangerous, life-threatening enemy. Now, here is where the story gets incredibly chilling. For the next several years, completely different researchers, people of different heights, different genders, and different body types, would walk through the university campus wearing that exact same caveman mask. They did not bother the crows. They did not shout. They did not wave their arms or act aggressively. They just walked normally along the pathways. The response from the crows was absolute, unadulterated chaos. The very second a crow spotted the caveman mask emerging from a building, they would erupt into an absolute frenzy. They recognized the face instantly. They did not care about the clothes. They did not care about the gait of the person walking. They only cared about the specific facial features of the mask. The crows demonstrated a literal, flawless photographic memory. They had permanently archived the exact contours, the shadows, the brow ridge, and the expression of the face that had threatened them so long ago. And this grudge did not simply fade away after a week, or a month, or even a year. The study definitively proved that crows hold on to these intense vendettas for more than 5 years. Let that sink in. 5 whole years. If you impatiently shoo a crow away from your trash can today, or if you stare them down aggressively on your lawn, you have just unknowingly signed a 5-year contract of hostility. Every single time you step outside your front door, they know exactly who it is. They remember the shape of your nose, the way your eyes sit in your skull, the curvature of your jawline, and perhaps even the specific color of the car you usually drive. You are now a permanently archived threat file in their incredibly complex, highly evolved brains. But let us say you are sitting there thinking, fine, I annoyed one single crow. What is the absolute worst that can happen? I have to deal with one angry bird occasionally? Well, here is the absolute most terrifying part of this entire phenomenon. You are not just dealing with one solitary bird. You are dealing with an entire, highly interconnected communication network that spans across your entire city. According to a fascinating, eye-opening study published in the journal Animal Behavior regarding the social learning of danger in corvids, crows essentially gossip. They have an intricate, incredibly sophisticated system of sharing critical information with one another. When you officially earn the title of enemy from that one single crow on your driveway, that bird absolutely does not keep the information to itself. It immediately flies back to the communal roost and uses specific, highly complex vocalizations to describe you in detail to the rest of the flock. Think of it exactly like a police radio dispatch. The crow is literally broadcasting your physical description, your last known location, and your specific threat level to its mate, to its children, and to the neighbors who live 3 streets over. This leads to a fascinating but terrifying psychological phenomenon known as social learning. Imagine walking down your street a week later, minding your own business. Suddenly, out of nowhere, a massive flock of crows begins dive-bombing you from the sky, shrieking aggressively, and creating a massive, chaotic, humiliating scene right in public. This coordinated attack is called mobbing. Mobbing is not just a mild annoyance. It is a terrifying, highly coordinated military maneuver. They swoop down within inches of your head, snapping their beaks aggressively, dropping debris on you, and creating a deafening wall of sound designed completely to disorient and intimidate you until you flee their territory. But here is the real kicker. Half of the birds currently screaming at you from the branches have never even met you before in their entire lives. They have never seen you touch a trash can. They have never seen you throw a stick. And they have never even made eye contact with you. They are actively attacking you purely based on the rumors and the precise descriptions they heard from the original crow you offended. The hatred is flawlessly transferred across the entire flock, spreading like wildfire. And incredibly, tragically for you, this intense hatred is even passed down through multiple generations. A young crow that has not even hatched from its egg, yet could eventually grow up to hate you and attack you on sight, simply because its parents and grandparents taught it that your specific face is bad news. An innocent, accidental stare from you on a Tuesday morning has literally snowballed into a generational curse. The entire neighborhood ecosystem has literally turned against you, and they are teaching their young to despise you. Now, do not panic just yet. Earlier in this video, I made you a promise. I promised you a clear way out. I told you I would give you the ultimate blueprint to surviving the avian mafia and clearing your name. You accidentally made eye contact. You are now officially on their radar, and the flock is whispering about you. How in the world do you clear your name and stop the mobbing? First and foremost, you have to completely counter the predatory assessment behavior we talked about earlier. Since staring aggressively triggers their internal alarm bells, you must immediately practice the art of strategic avoidance. When you step outside your house and see the local crows gathering on the power lines, do not lock eyes under any circumstances. Keep your gaze directed softly toward the ground or look straight ahead into the distance. You can acknowledge their presence through your peripheral vision only. By doing this, you are actively communicating through your body language that you are a passive, harmless creature, not a hunting predator locking onto a target. But let us be completely honest. Simple neutrality is not always enough to clear a 5-year, multi-generational grudge. Sometimes, you need to actively shift your status from a severe enemy to a highly valued asset. And in the complex society of the crow world, bribery is the absolute ultimate diplomatic tool. You need to present a peace offering. According to expert observers, the absolute gold standard for this avian peace treaty is offering them peanuts. But not just any peanuts. You must use whole, unshelled peanuts. Why unshelled peanuts? Because crows are foragers at heart. When you give them something they have to work for, you are not just feeding them, you are enriching their day. You are providing high value, engaging sustenance that is incredibly memorable. The crack of the peanut shell becomes a psychological anchor, associating your presence with a highly positive, rewarding experience instead of a terrifying, predatory threat. Crows are incredibly intelligent, mechanical problem solvers, and they absolutely love the interactive, physical challenge of cracking open a peanut shell. It gives them a rewarding task to complete. Here is the exact, step-by-step ritual you must follow to secure your redemption. Walk outside your house very calmly, moving slowly, and absolutely without making direct eye contact with the birds above you. Casually toss a generous handful of these unshelled peanuts onto an open, highly visible patch of grass or directly onto your concrete driveway. Now, here is the most crucial step of the entire process. Do not stand around to watch them fly down and eat it. Remember the current biology study. Watching them intensely is a predatory action. If you stare at them while they eat, they will think you are setting a deadly trap. Instead, the moment the peanuts leave your hand, turn your back completely and walk away confidently without looking over your shoulder. If you repeat this exact ritual over the course of a few consistent weeks, something magical will happen. That incredible, flawless photographic memory that was once used to memorize your face as a severe threat will slowly begin to be rewritten. You will be completely reclassified in their mental database. The intricate gossip network that once broadcasted your face as a major warning will start spreading a brand new rumor. The rumor that you are no longer the enemy. You are now the peanut provider. You are the neighborhood VIP. Before long, you will notice them eagerly waiting for you in the mornings, watching you respectfully from a safe distance, and if you are truly lucky, maybe even leaving you small, shiny gifts in return for your daily tribute. Because at the very core of all of this, the most profound and humbling realization is that crows are essentially holding up a massive mirror to humanity itself. We blindly walk through our vast concrete cities, completely absorbed in our phones and our daily stress, arrogantly thinking that we are the only highly intelligent observers on this planet. We think we are the only ones keeping track of history, holding grudges, and telling complex stories. But the truth is, right above our heads, sitting quietly on the telephone wires and the oak branches, is an ancient, deeply complex, winged intelligence. They are constantly watching us. They are actively judging our every move. They are remembering our faces with flawless precision, and they are telling epic, lifelong stories about us to their children and their neighbors. To a crow, you are not just a background character in their environment. You are a main character in their daily mythology. And through a single, fleeting glance on your front lawn, you alone get to decide whether you play the role of the terrifying villain or the generous, respected hero. So, the next time you walk out of your house to start your day, and you see a dark, feathered silhouette perched against the morning sky, remember the science. Remember the chilling Caveman Mask experiment. Remember the vast, invisible network of generational gossip. Keep your eyes low, keep a handful of unshelled peanuts securely in your coat pocket, and make sure you always respect the feathered mafia of the sky. Have you ever had a strange, unexplainable, or terrifying encounter with a crow in your own life? Have they ever targeted you for no reason, or perhaps brought you a mysterious gift? Drop your wild stories in the comments section below right now, because I can absolutely guarantee you, you are not the only one who has crossed paths with them. Stay curious. Always stay respectful of the wild, and I will see you in the next one.